match in the 1987 Goldpin Coca-Cola Classic is an interstate clash between Gary Williams from Liverpool in Sydney and his opponent is Tony Rodrick from Chatswood Hills in Brisbane. Your commentators, Steve Mackey and Terry Wenban.
Well, Tony Rodrick's elected to start again, and he's on lane 15. What a big opening for Tony Rodrick.
Well, pressure straight away on Gary Williams. He's a service station attendant from Liverpool. He has a perfect score of 300, and he's a winner of the 1981 Sydney Grand Prix. Loves dancing, soccer and tennis, and if he gets a strike, we could see a Gary Williams dance here.
Not a good opening for Gary Williams. He's bowling an outside line here at Kedron, and perhaps not the right way to attack this centre, Terry Wenban.
No one on the right's bowling way out. He should be bowling a bit further in and throwing the ball out. Got good composure, though.
Puts his head down on the spot, and, well, that's a reasonably confident-looking attempt at that spare. So now he's got to come back and try and regain that composure and contemplate his second frame.
A few fellows seen a fair bit of Gary. Does he naturally tend to throw the ball that wide?
He does. That's his natural game.
Yeah, it's a very natural bowler. He started as a junior at Enfield in Sydney about 20 years ago. He's moved inside on this lane.
No, he's dropped that one a little bit. Not happy with that shot.
Yes, he moved inside a little bit, though, so that's probably the right move. Just a fraction out of timing when he let the ball go. Pulled it slightly left, as we see here. He's got a pretty easy cluster there of 3.
Good follow-through.
Yes, that was a very aggressive-looking spare shot by Gary Williams. About 10 behind.
Tony Rodrick is a contract cleaner. He's from Chatswood Hills in Brisbane, has a perfect score of 300. He's won 2 New South Wales Grand Prix tournaments. He won the Sun City Queensland Open this year. And a very accomplished bowler and doing very well in this tournament.
There's that ball hanging out again on lane 16. It's what he's been afraid of.
I noticed Tony looked down at his thumb after he released the ball. He mentioned coming into the game he had a bit of trouble trying to release the ball at the bottom, and I think he blamed that. Have a look. We just cut out there, but he maybe blamed that for that poor ball.
Difficult foursome to go for there, and that was the danger. It's always the danger with that one, and Gary Williams, a second life now. He could be a pin ahead if he gets a strike next time he's up.
That was a silly error for Tony. It really was.
It might be being a bit hard on your mate here, Terry. You and Tony, good mates from bowling in Sydney for many, many years. Everyone makes those simple errors that you'd only make once in 10 shots.
That shot then he gave up on halfway through. Tony has a, you know, you get there and he opens his mouth even. That's unusual. But he just dumped the ball down in the lane and let it run across.
Well, Rodrick now looking for a spare in the third frame to stay within reach of Gary Williams. And well covered, Tony Rodrick. Gary Williams can take the lead now with a strike. And he's getting plenty of crowd support. One of the fun bowlers in the game, and a former winner of the South Pacific Classic Sportsman Award, voted by his peers as the best sport in the event. Bowling on that outside line again, and oh, that's a danger way to bowl in the centre.
Gary's ball doesn't suit that because it doesn't go down a long way and then turn in late. You can see it just rolls in, whereas Tony's really turns into the pins, and that's a danger, especially actually on lane 16, even during the seedings tournament. That occurred. A lot of 8-10s left.
Well, you have to get the ball to dip in late, do you? If you bowl that wide.
It's got to jump. It has to. What you've got to do is get the ball to jump into the pins.
Well, Gary Williams playing it safe there, and at the end of the third frame, you're watching the 1987 Goldpin Coca-Cola Classic. The difference 12 pins in favour of Tony Rodrick.
The man on screen, Gary Williams, trailing Tony Rodrick by 12 pins.
Gary's lost a bit of timing, and with timing, of course, confidence follows very quickly thereafter. He's just rushing the shot a little. That's why the ball's going left of the one pin. And he's certainly not bowling as well as he did during the practice session earlier on. And this is a difficult spare.
Now, you know, as you mentioned, Steve, every spare you leave with a combination like that is very difficult on TV. The pressure's always there. The pins look close together, but when you're a bowler, it's very easy to take one, as he does here.
Turned away from it before it even hit the pin. Back with Rodrick. It's a cruel game, this 10-pin bowling at this level. So much mental activity comes into it. The physical game falls apart when the mental game isn't there.
That's where the physical fitness side comes into bowling. If you're not physically fit, you can't be mentally fit.
Straightens that one out, covers it well. Good thinking, Tony Rodrick. He'll be the leader by about 20 pins in the fourth frame.
That mistake of Gary Williams not making that spare could be very costly by the time they get to the end of this, won't it?
Any open frame you have in a one-game match is almost deadly. Really, you know, whenever I've ever played a match, if you open a frame, you're out of it.
Oh, that was a soft shot on the approach. Good pin action, and it's great for Tony Rodrick. 21 pins the difference.
Have a look at the smile. Yes, you can smile, Tony Rodrick. The last one just falling, as we'll have a look at it here.
Yes, look at this shot. You know, the pin comes right across the lane. Again, the power of Tony, and he loves doing that. He absolutely loves ripping that 5 and blowing the pins across.
Yes, it gives you a feeling of power, doesn't it? Well, we're back with Gary Williams now. He's got a bit of work to do. 21 pins the difference. He's got to get some confidence going.
Gary moved even further left then. He's trying to change his line, trying to get the ball out, but nothing's working for him.
Yes, extremely nervous, that's for sure.
Yeah, that was a wayward shot. He wouldn't be happy with that. But actually, at this stage, he'd be very disappointed with himself.
Well, on his previous balls, he had to change his line, but quite obviously he overreacted.
Actually, oh, good fair. That's a good fair. That should build his confidence. That's not an easy fair to pick up.
No, he probably hasn't left that for many, many years. That's the most unusual spare for a right-hander to leave, and he's covered that with some consummate ease. So now let's see if that can bring him back to square one. He needs to go back to the drawing board, start all over again. He's moved further left on the approach now. His feet are way over. Second last dot on the approach.
Now he's just pulling the ball. Very similar to Sean Flynn. Nerves creep into it. It's very tense. As I say, with a one-game match, you can't make any mistakes at all.
Steve, are there front runners in 10-pin bowling? Are there fellows who like the lead and others who come from behind?
Yes, definitely. I think the key in match play is to get out to an early start and start the match, hopefully start with a double or a turkey, and that immediately puts the other man under the whip. And if he's not used to match play, not used to bowling pressure situations, he is going to start worrying about you rather than try to get his own game into order. So front runners, and I think Tony Rodrick's probably a front runner.
Tony loves to get out in front. He really does. He's not. He doesn't really come from behind that often.
There's not too many bowlers in Australia capable of coming good at the end of a game either.
He's still out on the lead and he's doing it well, Tony Rodrick.
Yes, that ball then would have knocked over 20 pins had they been standing. Let's have a look at it again. Hit the pin, crash.
Tony will be happy with that one. Might get him back on the track. He's got a double working here. If he can get one more, he throws 3 again. Back into the same situation he was before. He can actually stay now and start thinking about the next match.
And a bit of a tension reliever going to the side after he's let the ball go. See if he can make it 3.
He can afford to smile with that one. Normally he'd be upset with that, but he can afford to in this position. Gary Williams not doing too much. He knows Gary Williams is in trouble. He can just afford to take 9.
With that spare, Tony Rodrick now 45 pins ahead, and Gary Williams has a lot of work to do. He's got room for 6 strikes in a row. The best he can do is 190. Tony Rodrick shooting at a 195 pace. It's still a close match, but Gary Williams has to start striking now.
Yeah, Gary's moved further left on the approach, but he's not getting the ball out. What the problem is, basically in your swing, as the ball comes through, in around about the same position, what he should be doing to get the ball out is angling his body a little bit more to project the ball out. He's still staying square with the foul line, but all he's done is really move left, and his ball doesn't hook enough. He should be angling the ball out.
Good comments from Terry Wenban.
And you're watching the 1987 Goldpin Coca-Cola Classic. And at the end of the 7th frame, it's Tony Rodrick leading Gary Williams by 45. Gary Williams on screen. A mile behind Tony Rodrick. He's 45 pins down.
He's trying his heart out there. He's so determined, but it's just not working for him. He's a little bit disappointed.
He's really forcing the pace, babying the ball, as we say, trying to guide the ball in, as we saw Sean Flynn do in the match against Tony Rodrick last time we had the men's game on. Got to trust the shot in bowling. He's trusting the spare shots all right, but it's the first one that's letting him down.
Yes, that just shows a little bit of tension's creeping in. When you can pick up, when you can usually spare really well and you can't strike, it's because the tension's there on the first ball. You know, the strikes are the winners. A good shot there. Lets it go out. Looks good. Good spare. I hate that spare personally.
Yes, it's a nasty one. Back with Rodrick now. Looks sharp. Very sharp. Extends his lead to 48 pins, courtesy of that strike. Let's have another look at it. Plenty of carry. The 4-pin takes the 7-pin last.
Oh, he liked that one.
Yes, he did. Let's see if he can like the 9th frame, the foundation frame. All the good bowlers, the match play bowlers, like to get strikes in this one.
Another one down.
Oh, boy. Well, if he liked that last one on lane 16, he loved that one on lane 15. That was a beauty.
Tony having a go at me there. He always claims he throws more ball than I do. That shot was certainly the biggest thing I've seen. That was enormous. Look at this. He gets it way out there in the lane. He comes flying back. Blows the pins to pieces.
Gary Williams, perhaps a case of too little, too late. But he's still got room for 167. He'll be happy with that. He got the ball well out on the lane that time, and I think he angled his feet a bit, Terry, as you suggested. And that was a deep pocket hit.
Yeah, let's see if he can finish with 4 here. I'm sure he'd be a lot happier with it.
That's a double for Gary Williams.
Well, at least he's smiling now, Steve, anyway.
Yes, well, Alan was saying in the profile that he loved to dance, and it's just a shame that we didn't see him do some of his steps out there. He really does love to bowl well, as we all do. Even that ball there, when the pressure's off, it's marvellous. He had plenty of carry on that. That was a good count for 9.
Missing the ball to the right is not as bad as going through the nose. If you're going to miss to the right, because even if you lose 6 or 5 or even 3, you can pick it up, but you can't pick up splits.
That's right. Well, he'll be most disappointed with this game. Gary Williams going with a spare here, and that'll give him a score of only 156. But he'll learn a lot from that.
Tony Rodrick to finish out.
And Tony, if he gets 3 strikes in a row, we'll have the new high game in the men's division. 224 by Ian Hodson, the best so far. Tony has the opportunity to bowl 225.
Oh, no. Again, missed to the left. You know, like as Steve said, you could have punched out for 225 in the South Coast Open where he won. I think he averaged 225. After the match, I'm going to see Tony. He's bowling well below what he should be bowling.
Well, the score then for Tony Rodrick of 189.
And a win to Tony Rodrick, his 3rd in a row in the tournament. He defeats Gary Williams from Sydney by 33 pins, 189 to 156. Queensland over New South Wales with Tony Rodrick defeating Gary Williams. Well, nothing at full here, Steve.
No, and had a bit of bad luck, but I picked the wrong line at the beginning, and I think Tony bowled very well, and he just bowled within himself.
Right. I noticed you tried to rectify that line, but it wouldn't come.
No, it came too late, and but I tried my best, and that was it.
Okay, Gary, we have a cheque here from Coca-Cola for $550, and thanks for taking part in the tournament. Well, that's 3 in a row for you.
Yeah, it's going well so far, Alan.
Yeah. A few more to win before you get to the top.
It is a long way to the top at the moment. There's a lot of good bowlers in ahead of me, and I hope I can continue on the winning way.
Does it get easier?
No, not really. The lanes are starting to dry out fractionally. They should make adjustments to your shot. You know, the ball tends to be a little bit more erratic, and when you're throwing a bit of a hook shot, it tends to jump all over the place on you.
Right, we'll see whether it jumps all over the place next time you step up.
Thanks very much, Alan.
The winner is Tony Rodrick, and when we come back with our next match on the Goldpin Coca-Cola Classic, it'll be the 3rd round for the ladies.